guys, what's up? Unrested here, and I am currently taking a summer break on Oban Week in Shiga Prefecture. During that time, I'm staying at our family's kind of share house that we have, and it's not really like a share house like you'd imagine you'd purchase and share with each other, more so one we've had in the family for quite some time. This is kind of a storehouse, really, a storehouse for all the art that their family, my wife's family, I should say, has collected over time. Apparently her father was quite the collector. I wish I had met the man because this collection, I mean, good lord, look at this. This guy had an eye for detail. So I thought what I'd do today is just kind of take you through a short tour of this tiny little cabin in the woods, as it is. It's really not a cabin, but it's in the woods, that's for sure. It's pretty countryside out here. I thought I'd show you some of this artwork and just kind of give you a little bit of history on some of it. A lot of people ask me about antiques and they ask me about older stuff in Japan. Most of the rooms in this place are actually old-style tatami mat and shoji doors, which I'll also show and explain as well. Come join me for this small tour. Now, first off, what I'm going to start it out with is my wife's father's collection of Ebisu statues. Now, if you don't know who Ebisu is the god of fortune and business. There's a couple other type of statues mixed in with the Bisu here. I don't know all of them because I am not an expert on Shinto gods. Mind you, I always put my channel as entertainment, not as education. On top of that, there are some very old-style Edo-era dolls. These are similar to Okiku dolls in the fact that they have actual horsehair used for the hair. Some are made from porcelain-like material. Some are actually made, as I can show you over here, from eggshells. They're literally made from eggshells. But they're also coated in something that keeps them from easily cracking. And there's two cute little couple down here too. Oh, you guys are so cute together. Now here's the next little one I want to show you. And that is one of my favorite things in Japanese history. And that is the beautiful no masks. I love looking at these, and these are just pretty much antique artifacts. This one over here, this Oni mask, I can't even imagine how old this must be. Apparently her father was so good at memorizing and collecting these different things is that he could just look at it and know what era it was from, whether it was Meiji or Edo, something I can not do whatsoever. Even being an art lover and having majored in art and taken art history 3 times in college, sadly, they never let us cover Asian art, which, what a shame. Alright, let's come down here. I want to show you what I think is one of the coolest little things. This is a letter opener, alright? An ornate letter opener. Now, I know you think it looks like a samurai sword, but it doesn't just look like a samurai sword. It pretty much is. I mean, that is sharp. I don't know if you can tell by just looking at the camera, but that is mega, mega sharp. I don't know how viciously you need to open your letters, but that appears to be pretty common because the other ones that are in there too, sorry for my leg being on there, are also very, very sharp. There's this one here too. Same type of thing. I opened that up. I mean, I was really surprised. That would easily cut deep, deep, deep into you. On top of it, we have these hair pieces that would go to a very ornate kimono. These would usually be stuck on the side of the hair that was made up for the kimono. And you've probably seen these before in very ornate pictures of old-style Edo-era kimono-wearing geishas. These are expensive. They are very hard to make. They take hours of pounding out iron or whatever metal, really. I don't know the metal in particular. But, I mean, how beautiful are those? I wish there was lighting inside this cabinet so I could better show it to you. On top of it, we've got the combs in here too that were used. I'm sure you've seen these in the old Edo-style geisha's hair, usually at the top of a bun. Alright. And back there we've got a few more gods that sadly it's just too dark inside this cabinet to see. And I mean, this is in the middle of the bright, bright day. That's how dark the inside of that cabinet is. Alright. Let me take you upstairs for the really good stuff, for the stuff that personally I get excited for. Alright? These are very old-style Japanese stairs. They're super steep. Oh. Let's get into the room that is nothing but old-style artwork. Got our light here. There we go. Well, lots of nice light. You can see some stuff still being moved into this room. They're still moving all the artwork that her father collected. He died back when he was 70 years old. It's been a while now. He's been dead for, I think, 15 years. So if you're wondering why I keep talking in past tense about her father. Anyway, let's take a look here. What do we got? We got a beautiful Shisei lion. I don't know if you know, but these Shisei lions are from Okinawa. They're meant to protect any entrance to any temple. And that's what their deal is. Now, here's something I don't totally understand exactly what this is. I'm going to try my best to explain. As far as I can tell, I believe this is a very old prayer book that you would bring to the different rituals, the different Buddhist rituals that you would go to. And this is all hand-drawn. All right, I'm very, very lightly turning these pages. Look at the detail put into this. This is amazing. This is beautiful. I love this. And this is all hand done. Each one of these books that would have been made would have been done piece by piece. This is not even a printing press like old school printing press. One of the Buddhist gods. I'm sure these are different deities below that god, subsets of it. And then even as you start to get past all these, you get into the actual writing. This is actually written. This isn't stamps. This isn't somebody stamping. This is somebody with immaculate calligraphy, or shoujo, which pretty much means calligraphy for kanji. Look at this god. Something like Shiva, the man of 1,000 arms, or the god of 1,000 arms, the destroyer of worlds. This picture of some kind of water, I guess, deity. This kind of stuff, man, this what makes me love, just love Asian art. I mean, this detail, just incredible. People in Japan, I always feel like they can draw, the average person can draw and illustrate 1,000,000 times better than anyone in Western states. Like if someone says, I can't draw very good at all, and then they show you and you're like, yeah, you really can't. There's just stick figures. But in Japan, when somebody says that, you see them draw them like, it's like, they can at least draw like every basic anime, like Naruto and stuff like that with no problem at all. But they can't get super detailed into like stuff beyond Naruto, and they consider themselves really bad. And you're just like, yeah, that's actually pretty good in America. Yeah, look at all this. And I think a lot of that skill comes from this. You learn kanji, you learn how to draw perfectly straight lines, you learn how to like narrow out lines at the end, you learn these swiping motions, a lot of detail just in the way that you write your different characters for your language. I think it gets you pretty good at doing illustration pretty fast. Yeah, look at that. Holy crap, man. Amazing. I love it. I love it. Nothing but respect for artwork like that. I'm always very careful to put everything exactly back where I find it. You see you got a couple other things here, very old style teapots from Japan. Let's see. Oh, here's a prayer wheel. It's a copy of, a replica of a prayer wheel from a temple. I don't know exactly which temple. There's probably kanji on there that tells me, but I'm too stupid to be able to read it. You got another prayer book. Here's a cool little prayer flyer. Pretty much that's what it is. Look at that one. That one's awesome, dude. Beautiful, beautiful ornate drawing. I mean, obviously these are actually done via stamp, but even someone who would have done the woodwork and the lithography for stuff like this would be a very talented artist. I can tell you that just from going through, 4 years of art school. You got pretty much a talisman oni that'll scare away any kind of bad omens trying to get into your house. And last but not least, I want to show you probably one of the creepiest things you'll ever see. Oh. The Okiku doll. There she is. Now the Okiku doll has a couple different types of history. One of them is an urban legend that says one time a couple bought one of these from a temple after their 2-year-old daughter died. And after they bought this Okiku doll, because they thought it looked slightly like their 2-year-old daughter, the hair continuously grew from its head. And they had to cut it regularly. At some point it was something like 7 feet long the hair had grown. And they took it to the temple, and the temple said it was okay to cut it. And they started to like keep the doll in the temple as a holy object. That's one of those ones that like borders on like, was it true, was it not true? Some people say they actually have seen this Okiku doll. Some people say no, that definitely never happened. There's another type of doll. It's not called the Okiku doll. It's got a slightly different name, and I think it pretty much means the square head doll. And this is a really sad story, but apparently if a village back in Edo era or Meiji era didn't have enough food to go around for all the people, but someone still had a baby, instead of having an abortion, they would wait till the baby came full term and was born. They would kill it for a sacrifice to the gods and then replace it with a wooden doll baby that the family could nurse for a while to get over their grief, which I don't know. And don't think, I'm not thinking like, it's not sacrifice. I shouldn't say sacrifice to the gods. They didn't sacrifice it to the gods. They weren't like, take this blood. Okay, it wasn't some kind of like black metal ritual. It was more just kind of like for the safety of the village. They literally couldn't feed it. So it would either starve to death or die very quickly. I'm sure they figured out some way to kill it as painless as possible. I'm sure they weren't monsters. Alright, I believe this down here is Kintaro. You can look up the little story of Kintaro. It's pretty much a fairy tale in Japan. You can come back over here. This is the tatami mat. I'm sure you've heard a lot about this. This is how everything's measured in Japan. When you come into a room, they don't say, this room is 10 by 10 or 18 by 18. They say how many tatami mats can fit in there. That's how they measure a room. That's even how they measure air conditions too. If you buy an air conditioner, it'll say, this is an air conditioner for a 26 tatami mat room, which, unless you know the exact dimensions of a tatami mat, means nothing to you. That's what always happens to me. Alright. And then we got the shoji doors. These beautiful, beautiful shoji doors. If you don't know how the shoji door works, you can see it's paper. It's all paper. If I was a real jerk and went to punch a hole through that with my finger, I easily could. Obviously, I'm not going to do that because I don't want my family to be angry at me. But people always ask me when they would see these in my video, they'd be like, don't those get punched really easy or like a hole in them? Yeah, usually not unless it's like a house full of small children, which, I mean, my kids have probably done that at some point. Or if you're moving furniture, which an idiot like me has done before, moving a table, I put a hole in one of these before. Afterwards, you usually yearly have the whole thing replaced. And how that works is you come around to this side of it, and this side is where they'll put glue down all across these. They'll put a big layer of glue. They'll take the old paper off. I think you could even see, yeah, see, this is where the old paper used to be. And they'll put a new paper back down, and that'll replace it. I'm going to show you a couple more things before we go. Look at this beautiful drawing. Now this is where I know her father, her late father, and I would have had an eye-to-eye on art. This is super mega fine pen work. And from what I can figure on the back, it said Chronos Tenshin, which, if I'm correct, would translate to Clockwork Angel. And as you can see it in its belly, there's like little gears and stuff like a clock, and it's all made of metal. On top of that, you've got the old lady from the No Mask collection. The old lady is in one of my favorite plays known as Kuroyama, and it's about two monks who go to visit an old woman in the middle of a mountain and ask to stay at her house while going on a pilgrimage. She says yes, but whatever you do, don't open the back room. In the middle of the night, they do it anyway, and they find that everybody who's ever visited her house, she's killed and thrown into a giant pile of bodies that is rotting in black. Got dark fast. You didn't expect that one, did you, from a no play? Yeah. Japanese used to make some of the scariest stories ever, even back in Edo era. So, much respect for that. Alright guys, that's it for our little tour of antiques and art today. I hope you've enjoyed everything you've learned about shoji doors, tatami mat, and all different types of artwork and stuff on the walls here. Until next time, I'm Unrested with the questions you requested. This is JFAQ, Japan's frequently asked questions. Please like, comment, and subscribe!